Lack of money is the root cause of crime, depression, and ill health in the world. Hi, my name is Aarti Chawla. I'm a life and relationship coach, a healer, and a therapist. I create content on life and lifestyle, and I'm a founder of Happy Souls Club and Life Designers Club. Today, we have a very eminent branding expert, Mr. Ravi Nadar, who's a personal brand designer. He's also an author, and he's a founder of $1 million Brand Club. Hello, Ravi. Welcome.
Well, thank you so much, Aarti. Thank you for inviting me. Super
You're
excited for
most
this.
welcome. Yes, absolutely. I'm also very excited to know your journey, to know your story about your mental health, about your struggles, and how you overcame your struggles and you uplifted yourself. And today, he is not only uplifting himself, guys. I would like to tell this to the audience that he is uplifting so many other people around him by being a brand designer. So, tell me, Ravi, how was your childhood and how was your upbringing?
Uh, sure. Well, if I have to say, when it comes to my childhood, so my childhood come from living in that chawl in one room kitchen. Okay, my
Mm,
father, my mom and dad, they were from a different place, in Tamil Nadu, Tirunelveli. So they
mm,
migrated over here. My father was working, and then he went back, and then he get married, and then he came. And I'm been born and brought up in Mumbai. So the
mm,
first point of destination where I was able to see and open my eyes was in a chawl. Okay. So
mm,
when I say chawl, chawl is something which is different for many people who don't know. Chawl is where it's not a good place to live. Okay.
mm.
Unless and until it's something you cannot do about. So I was living in that one room kitchen
One room kitchen.
where my childhood was, and every now and then there used to be a fight at my place with
Mm,
some neighbors or some or the other thing, like some drunken people. They are fighting each and everything, a lot of things happen. And if I
mm,
do not see any fights out there, definitely I would see fights at my place in my home between
mm,
my mom and dad. So
mm,
that is where I come from. And then slowly from the childhood, it was very tough childhood, and I was always used to curse the universe, the god, and everything, that hey,
mm,
why did you give me this kind of a childhood?
mm,
You could have given me a better childhood, because I used to watch movies, right? In movies, you see, rich people and they have cars, the homes and everything. I used to
mm,
think, like, why didn't you, put me somewhere in their, to their family, so that it would be good and everything.
mm,
So a lot of things used to happen when it comes to, one point I would like to highlight is, especially from 1 till 10th. Okay, the date from 1 till 10th, we used to live like a king.
mm,
And from 11th till the 30th, okay,
mm,
that is, we used to live like a beggar kind of a thing.
mm,
And why? Because first, my dad used to get salary, so from 1st to 10th we used to spend, and there was no money management. And after that, we used to struggle for the next 20 days, and that 20 days was a very hectic day. And
mm,
it was
mm.
so hectic that sometimes we could not have food to eat. We
Oh,
could not afford so many things, and just because of that, that is a point, that is a spark to, to get the fight started at in the family,
the house and the family.
in
Yeah.
the family, yeah. So that is what was the case, for such a long time, I would say. And it was always used to hit me so badly, and I used to mentally get tortured, that what kind of a life am I living? And especially
Mm,
when it comes to right now, it's a rainy season in Mumbai, right? So
yeah.
I used to hate rainy season. You know why? Because where
Um,
people used to love to eat bhajias, and they used to
yeah.
love to drink that chai, cutting chai, and go
Yes.
and, just have fun at home.
Fun.
I
Yeah.
used to hate. Why I used to hate? Because the moment when the rain gets started, we used to keep and, track of all the utensils, one at this place, one that place, one that place, because there was a
The
leakage,
rain. Yeah.
at, pouring of water from that
Mm,
cement sheet.
mm,
And sometime it was so tough, if there is a heavy rainfall, we not used to, sleep at night. And again, that would be one kind of a spark again to have some kind of a fight, that why God we they you have to do this to us, and why
Mm.
you're not you're not fair with us compared to other people. So
Mm.
this kind of a conversation used to get started, and from there,
Even as a
then.
child, you used to have this kind of a thought. Okay, let me put this question in a little bit different
Mhm,
way. Like a child doesn't know that whether it is the parents who are not taking care of us properly, or it is their fault, or it is, God who's not, placed you in the right family. So how was your mindset as a child, like maybe a 7, 8, 10-year-old child? Who did
mhm.
you feel, you could feel, blame the responsibility on, or what were your thoughts as a child?
Absolutely. So when we are in the childhood, okay, we don't know anything, but we have learned in our tradition, that you have to pray God, and you can ask
Yes.
anything to the God, and He will
Yes.
give it to you. Okay,
Mm.
and the second person you can ask is your mom and dad. Okay,
Mm.
these are the two people. So if something goes wrong to me, these are the two people whom I can blame. So I used
Mm.
to blame these people. I used to blame my
Exactly.
mom and dad, that why,
Mm.
you, why, what is happening, why you're not rich, why you're not that
Mm.
successful and everything. And I got this answered later on, because I used to start blaming all these and kind of a thing. But now I'm not that kind of a person who blames
Yeah.
my parents, because
You've come a long way, Ravi.
yes,
Yeah.
so I am in that awareness that ki no, my mom, dad, whatever they have did, they have given their 110% at that particular
Absolutely.
time.
Absolutely.
And
You
to
know how
get this
funny it is.
awareness, mhm,
Yeah. You know how funny it is that when we are a child, we keep blaming them, and
yes,
we keep thinking that they are not doing the right thing. They could have done things better, and they are not the right kind of parents, and blah, blah, blah. And when we grow old and when we take their shoes, we become parents, or we have a family to take care of, or we have the whole burden of taking care of the family on our shoulders, we
mhm,
realize everybody does their 110%. I mean, you
yes,
cannot blame anybody else. I mean, it's all in your hands how you, so you take care of other people, not just monetarily, even otherwise, right? And
absolutely.
so this is really funny how things table turns. Yeah.
Absolutely, because we try to blame for each and everything. It's just because of somebody else's mistake we are facing this kind of a problem,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
And I'm coming in from that particular place. Why? Because the change of awareness started when we start seeing our parents. They have done so many things to us, and
Hmm.
when sometimes we get that goosebumps moment. I would like to share
Exactly.
one scenario. For
Yeah.
example, to buy a computer at my
Mm.
place for the first time, my dad has to work 30 days extra as an overtime.
Hmm.
So is he not giving his 100%? He has given his 200%. Not only he's working for that particular month, but he is working extra and without getting a proper sleep and everything, just to so that his child should have that computer. Similarly,
Computer.
if I go back to the childhood, video game. I was very much fond of video game, right? We used to play Mario, the ninjas and the contras and everything.
Yes.
I always used to get the that box, Mitashi's box of that game from my friend, and then
Hmm.
I spoke to my dad. Dad, I want to buy my own, and it was around costing somewhere around 400 500 rupees. And one day he took me to in the market with my mom, and he said this I can get you somewhere around 300 or 400 rupees. But
Hmm.
you know for me 300 400 was not good. I need something more, 500 or
Better.
600 wala. So
Yes.
just that extra 150 rupees, that was a huge burden at that particular time. And
Hmm.
my mom and dad was having some conversation, and I was able to listen. They were saying like, it's fine, this is the one time, this is what we have to do it for our child. It's okay if we shell out more 150 rupees.
Hmm.
So when I heard that, it actually pinched me a lot, that this is where we are, and our parents are doing so many things, and we are not able to give back to them.
Yes.
So
Yes.
That is the journey, I
That
would say.
realization comes quite late, right? I mean, that
Yes,
realization is not when you are a child. If you want that 600 wala toy, you have to have that. I mean,
correct.
you have no logic that, okay, maybe they don't, they will have to suffer a lot. Okay,
Mm,
they are doing their best. You will always say, aapne nahi leke diya. It's your fault.
yes.
You did not get me. So, coming to friends and your childhood, Ravi, tell me, how was it? How was the environment when you were studying? Were there like your friends were of your coming from the same place, or did you feel any inferior in front of them, or how was it like?
Yeah. When we talk about my school life, I was a very quiet student, and
Mm.
I was not the backbencher and neither the front bencher. I was the middle bencher. Okay.
Mm.
And if I have to talk to somebody, hardly I would be mingling with only one or two people. That's it. And there is
Mm.
a reason why I became like that, because I used to get bullied in my school time. People used to call me Kalia. When it comes to
Ah.
Kalia, if in Hindi, it's towards the dark complexion. You have a dark complexion, and they
Mm.
used to tease me. So it used to hit me so hard that's why I stopped talking to anybody. And it's only 1 or 2% who understands me, and
Mm.
I always used to eat that tiffin with them. I used to come with them, go with them, and I always used to play with these people. And when it
Mm.
comes to girls, oh my god, I never used to go. I have that guts and to go and speak to them in front of them, looking into their eyes, or talk about anything, maybe their books or notes. Why? Because of that inferior it was that maybe they don't like to talk to that dark complexion guy, or maybe they again they will bully me. That was
Mm.
a fear inside me. And I think so it was still the 10th standard, the entire 10 years went that way, I would say.
Mm. Yeah, so a lot of bully by, or not only because of the kind of, background that you have, the status in the society, but also about the looks and other things. Yeah. So, just to ask, like every teenager is attracted to girls and they want to have, a conversation. You said you were not able to have a conversation. Did that anyway impact you in your relationships, or, growing up in your confidence level, or in your relationship with others and with opposite sex? Any inputs on that?
So when it okay, so because of this, I first of all, neither with the opposite sex, with the same sex people, with the some other male also, I was very shy to talk to them,
Yeah.
because there was
Mm.
only one thing. Maybe they bully me with this particular reason. There was
Mm.
a fear inside me. I was not the person who used to go upfront and talk, hey, hey, what's up? What is happening? What you guys are doing and everything. I was
Mm.
always on the corner. That's it. Unless and until somebody comes and push me, hey, come along. Till that time, I would never go and mingle with anybody. And it was the same in the college time as well, I would say. I don't
Okay.
know. Somewhere I feel I'm a person very much introvert. Okay.
Mm.
And now when I see myself that I'm an ambivert, I can only mingle, or I will only talk to the people who, I think that, hey, these people are genuine and they are not going to bully me again. But
Yes.
now I have a very much confidence that, because nobody, bully me, with that dark
Yeah.
complexion and everything. That
Yeah.
was the mindset, I would say, I was having during that childhood. That
Mm.
was the shift which has changed.
Amazing. 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 So you've come a long, long way, Ravi, honestly speaking. And did you take any time a professional help or a counseling while you were in college? Did you feel that I have to talk to somebody? There's nobody I can talk about all of these things, or how was it?
um Definitely, I was not having that awareness during that childhood that I should talk to anybody, that they will guide me, or give me that counseling and everything. But there
Mm-hmm.
was one thing for sure. What was going inside my mind was that everybody is the same. Nobody is going to help me. This is how the God has made me and my family, and this is what the situation will be till I die. So there is nobody who is going to help me and all, because many a times, many a things which has happened during that childhood, that because of that I had a lack of faith, lack of trust in other person. And like, every you ask me like all the negative things I have gone through, you ask me like anything, like lot of things I was able to see in my life, that made me so hard that like, there is nobody like, who can guide me, or like, who
Mm.
can help me, unless when I made a decision that I don't want to be this kind of a person. Because if I will be this kind of a person, it is not only going to impact me, but it is going to impact my entire family. And tomorrow, if I have a kid, it will be impacting the entire generation. So the
Exactly. So
choice
this
is
was
on
my
my
next,
God.
yes. So this was my next question. What triggered you to change yourself, and how did that awareness come? As you mentioned, you never took any professional help, you never spoke
Mm-hmm.
to anybody, or put your heart out and all of that. But you knew that there's something wrong, but that's in my hand. I need to step up and I have to take a decision. And that I really appreciate you for that, because a lot of times what happens is we get so deep into that
Mm-hmm.
depression, not like, of mental depression, but that whole low phase and rock bottom of our life, that we don't see the peak at the other end. We don't see that there's another summit also, that we can go some, another place also. But
Mm-hmm.
you have kind of taken that decision. So something would have triggered you. Would you like to share more about that?
Absolutely. So during the college time, okay. So during that particular time, I was not able to focus on my studies, because there was always a lack of money at the family, and there was like, all the same thing was going on again and again and again. So
Mm.
during that time, I was not able to focus. So what happened is I got a big zero in max, and I had to like, drop out from the college.
You're talking about the
And
college, as in the graduation college or the 11th, 12th
not
one?
I'm not graduate person, so I have just
Um,
completed HSC, and during
uh,
the first year of college this is what is happening. So I
in
was not able
11th
to
standard, you mean to say?
no, after 13th I
13th.
completed my 12th
You
HSC, and
completed
then
it.
after that, the first year of college, I thought that no, I think so. I have to step up, because many a times we don't step up just thinking that somebody else will step up for us. And for
Hmm.
some people, it will take a long time. For some people, they get this realization maybe in the teenager, some people at the 30s, some people at the 40s, some people at the 60s. They still think that somebody else will step up for make the change in my circumstances. But for
Hmm.
me, I was very much pretty sure that I have to step up now. So I
Yeah.
have to step up. Then I want to start working. Then I started working part-time job in a Pizza Hut. That was my first job for
Hmm.
1,250 rupees was my salary during that particular time. And I was doing a part-time. And during that part-time, I got to know there is no more interest in studies, because there was only one question which was always like, ringing around my like a bell, was that how this education is going to help me for
Hmm.
becoming my future self, how
Hmm.
this is going to help me to solve my money problem, how this is going to solve my environment problem, how this is going to solve my mental state where I am coming from, who is this
Hmm.
going to understand. For example, from childhood, Harappa civilization, that is all good for knowledge, but how it is going to help
Knowledge.
me in my life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Totally,
So a
totally.
lot of subjects were there which I see that that was not aligning for me.
There's no
And
practical implementation. It's not just
hmm,
for you, Ravi. Our whole education system is like such. There is no practical, implementation. We are not taught how to manage money. We are not taught how to manage relationships, as
correct.
small as how to manage emotions. And that becomes the base of our life. The emotions and our emotional health and mental health, that all becomes the base of our life. And our relationships are so important. We are never taught how to manage relationships, money. So yes, so in 11th standard, in 13th standard, you decided you will drop out.
Yes, the 13th standard, because I was not able to focus. And when the result came, like it was a big zero, I said no to college then. But I cried a lot for next 2 days. Why I got
What
failed
were your
each and
parents' reaction?
parents' reaction was it's okay, that's fine. You can go like, again. I would say somewhere they were very much supportive to me. Okay, they were
Mm,
very much supportive, and I was someone like, I want to change this situation for my family.
mm,
Period. They were very much supportive. They were doing like whatever they were having in their hand, they were doing. They said it's fine, so there are so many people who get fail, it's fine, you
Mm.
can go and complete. But I was worried that now already my friends are in the next year, and I
Yeah.
will be I have to join the juniors, and how can I show my face to them? Even I,
Yeah.
if I have to show my face, how can I complete my studies? Because
Yeah.
I was not able to focus at
So your
all.
parents were very supportive in that case.
Yes, yes.
But you know what
And
happens is,
hmm,
Ravi, we often watch a movie or we watch
yes,
something and then we get inspired. Okay, I will do this and do that. So there must be one ideal or one thing that would have inspired you to take charge of your life and start, changing the situation as it was earlier since your childhood. So anything particular you would like to share that happened that got this change?
two things I would say. The
Mm.
first thing was one quote. When I was able to go through that particular quote, that stuck me, that hit me so bad. And I
Mm.
was able to start getting all the answers from that. And the quote
Mm.
was from none other than Bill Gates, that if
Mm.
you're born poor, it's not your mistake, but if you die poor, that's your mistake. I
Ah,
said, I don't have to do anything because it was not under my control when I was born poor.
yes,
Absolutely fine. So I was out of that cage now. It was
yeah.
not my mom's fault. It was not my dad's fault or anything. But
Mm.
now it's totally under my control. It's my ownership that if I die poor, it's my mistake. It's not
My
my mom's
mistake.
mistake or
Yeah.
that. That's
All
where that spark, that's where the spark started, fueling in. That's
mm.
where, I was able to change it, the way I start thinking, because I was coming from the scarcity mindset. And
Yes.
also, I would like to share one more thing. I have my one of my friend, he's a Punjabi friend,
Uh-huh.
very nice friend. Um, During those childhood, coming from that chawl mentality, you always feel more jealous about others.
Yes. Yes.
Jealous about if
Comparison.
they, yeah,
Mm.
comparison, if they bought a bike, if they bought a big TV, if they do this, all the comparison that we come from. And I was also the same kind of a person, unless when he shared something that you should never get jealous about others. He
Mm.
taught me that, like, you should never ever get jealous about other people.
Mm.
And when he shared, and when I started hanging around with these kind of friends, I started learning something, and that started shifting me, that if
Mm.
I don't get jealous about others, because this is a very much important, Arti. I'll connect this dot why I'm talking about this jealousy, because somewhere you will not have a great relationship for in your future when it comes to with your money as well. Because if
Mm.
you're jealous about other successful rich people, that means
Mm.
you're jealous about their money as well. And if you're
Yeah.
jealous about their money, that means you're jealous about that particular money, and money will not go to any people who are jealous with that person. For
Mm.
example, if anybody is having a girlfriend, if you're always jealous about your girlfriend, do you like that girlfriend want to be with that particular boyfriend? No.
Mm.
Similarly, that money is like, we should never get jealous. We should never get about jealous about other successful rich people and everything. And
Mm.
slowly, when I got that awareness, I started blessing them.
Wow.
That shifted. So, for example, if I see any rich people or successful people, driving BMW or Mercedes, instead of jealous, I can replace that with God bless you,
Mm.
bless you with more prosperity, bless you with more this, because that
Mm.
is not affecting that particular people, but this is gave me a great picture of abundance to me, and I
Mm.
started shifting my mental state overall by
Got,
blessing every each and other people.
got it.
So
Got
it's
it.
very important, Ati.
Amazing. That's a real big insight for us. So there are two things you mentioned that has impacted you a lot. One is a quote by Bill Gates that you've just mentioned. Uh, being born in a not being born not rich is fine, but dying not rich is
Yeah,
your
if you're
problem.
not
Yeah.
born, if you're born poor, it's not your mistake, but
Born
if you
poor.
die
Okay, so
poor,
you
it's
use
your
the word
mistake.
poor. Yes, yes. So I've changed the word rather than poor from not rich. Yeah, from poor to not rich. So being born not rich is okay. That's your destiny. But dying not rich is
Because it's
in
in
your
our
hand.
hand, totally in
Ah,
our hand.
Totally. And great that you changed your mindset. And the second reason that you mentioned was your friend who motivated you and guided you. So, do you have any mentor or a guide in your life who's kind of helped you change your mindset? And now, maybe for business, maybe you must be having. But as you were growing up, did you look up to somebody?
Yes, absolutely. So after that quotes, okay, then what I started doing is I started researching about successful people, that what is that they are doing, what I can
Mm,
also do so that I
mm,
can get the result of those kind of a people. And when I
mm,
started researching Google, Google is the best place where we can research. I started seeing a lot of things which is differ from the mentality where I come from the
mm,
chawl mentality, from the middle class mentality where I come from. It is completely different. And when I started seeing one by one, and then one thing which came across is that there is one book that every successful and rich people has read that.
mm.
So
Which
what did
is?
I did? I thought, hey, if I also read that, then I will get an insight, and then I will be in that particular track as well, because
Mm,
I was able to see from all different angle, lot of research I did, and then I got to know that this is that one book all the rich people like, and it has made so many millions of people rich, and mostly every rich people has read this book. So that gave me that hope. Okay, so I started reading that particular book, and that book is none other than Think and Grow Rich.
wow.
So
Hmm.
I would say Napoleon Hill
Napoleon
was
Hill.
my first mentor, and
Hmm.
this is the power of him, like mentor Aarti, that that person is not alive, but still he has changed my life
Yes, yes. Through his books.
through his book.
Wow, beautiful.
So that book, Think and Grow Rich, literally shifted the way I thinking, and I started implementing. And that is, I would say, the first mentor. And then I was able to get to a lot of different mentors. But the first mentor to guide me and put that hope and belief in me that I will be able to do whatever I want to do in this particular life is Napoleon Hill, I would say.
Wow, amazing. Great, great, great. Hmm. So any particular lesson from this book that you would like to share to our audience and to the youth who's just like you and who's in their teenage or early adulthood? Would you like to share anything to them right now?
So when it comes to the youth, I think so. Anybody in this world, like if they decide on something, they will 100% they will be able to achieve it.
Hmm.
Why? Because once you decide that particular thing, the first person to believe on that particular thing is you. When you
Hmm.
start believing in yourself, and that is the quote by the second quote, which is by Napoleon Hill. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve.
Achieve.
When I
Yes.
read that quote, I don't know what that mean. I read multiple, 100 times. I would say I started researching one word, and I was seeing in the dictionary what is the real meaning of this and everything. And when I
Hmm.
start getting to know about that particular thing after reading that books and everything, I started realizing, and that gave me hope, because now after reading that particular book, especially when it comes to the youth, they need to start reading books. Because
Hmm.
just imagine, you cannot go ahead and afford, if you think that paying multiple lakhs or 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs to get for some mentorship program.
Coaching
But at
and
least you
mentorship.
can afford like 400, 500 or 1000 rupees book, because the entire expertise they have given on that particular book.
Yes,
So
yes.
reading books has helped me to shift my entire the way I think a lot, I would say, Aarti.
Amazing, amazing. Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing this nugget. And yes, this is a message to everybody who's watching our program today that they should be reading books. And maybe, now there are so many audiobooks available. There are so many other ways where you can, read that book, maybe join a book club or maybe take a friend who's your accountability partner and just
Hmm.
start reading a book. And, that really impacts us. And look at how it has changed the mindset shift for Ravi. It's really amazing to know your story. One last question, Ravi. Would anything that you wish would have not happened in your life? Is there anything that you wish could have happened differently? you would have been a better person?
There are a lot of things like, when we think of that this
Yeah,
should
apart
go
from the
in.
the money thing that we are
Apart
talking
from
about.
money thing, yeah.
Yeah.
If this would have happened, and like, God might have some other decision, and that
Mm,
doesn't go way according to that plan. A lot of things happened in my life, but one thing for sure, what I do is the way I think is, before taking any kind of a decision, first
mm,
I see that what is the negative about that. For example, let's suppose it doesn't happen on that way. Am I
mm,
ready for that? For example, if I have to invest, and this is not a great advice for anybody, but this is how I operate. Okay, if for example, if I have to invest, or if I have to take a chance on somebody or doing on something, I will see that what if that doesn't work, and
mm.
if that doesn't work, am I ready to bear that particular pain?
Yes. The
If I'm
worst
ready
scenario.
to, yes, the
Yeah.
worst scenario. So worst scenario, am I ready to, like, bear that pain if that doesn't turn out? If yes, then I, like, keeping that faith, and like, with my experience and everything, I go for it. And if
Mm,
something, if I see that I would not be able to bear that particular thing, I would not make that particular decision. So
mm.
that is what, that is
So
how,
no
like, I
regrets.
used to think.
No
No
regret.
regret. No regrets. When you talk about regrets, Aarti, I don't want to regret and die poor. Period.
Yeah.
That's it. Because this is what I say. Like, no, because we are not, we, the universe and God has not made us poor, by the way. Okay, it's
Mm,
we, the way we start thinking and the belief made
yeah.
us poor. So I don't
Yeah.
want to die in that way.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, one thing I believe is, Ravi, money is man-made. Money is not
Correct.
created by God. It is a
Correct.
man-made, materialistic thing for consumption.
Correct.
Initially we started with barter system. You take
Mm-hmm.
rice and give me wheat. You take this and give me something else. And then there was this just a token given to that. Instead of barter, let's give that a token so that I can use it later. And that's how money was created. And
Absolutely.
I'm surprised to see how everybody is running the rat race. Even I've run the rat race for like 16 years, and everybody's running after money. Everyone's running after, the materialistic things, but we seldom forget that money is man-made. Money is not made by God. And you rightly said, God did not make us poor.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because he has made us in abundance. Like, for example, I
Yeah.
have an example to give to this world, that there is so much abundance. For example, anytime if you see that there is a scarcity in your life, it's the way you're seeing, that's why you're seeing the scarcity. For example, there's a lot
Mm.
of abundance. Can you see outside the window, there is abundance of leaves? Can you
Yeah.
count that? No. There is
Mm.
abundance of sand in the beach. Can you count that? No. There is abundance of fish in the ocean. Can you count that? There is abundance of sky, the birds, and you just name it, everywhere there is an abundance.
Nature is abundant.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
but the only scarcity we have, it is in our mindset,
Our mind.
because
Yeah.
that environment and the way we started thinking, that has made us thinking like, it's very scarce. And you rightly said that money is a man-made. Because for
Hmm.
example, if I have to buy, I cannot take, like, 100 cows with me, and I every time in my like, and roam around. So
Hmm.
that's why, to have that safe barter, that's when the coins, the cash, everything
Yeah.
was invented. But
Invent.
when I talk about money, Aarti, like, I am not very much fond of, like, I'm running behind of money. No, I'm not running behind of money, but I'm making sure that when God has already given you an opportunity to become that better version of yourself, that you will be able to live that and deserve that particular life. Why are
Hmm.
you, like, playing safe? I'm talking
Hmm.
about that. So I'm not running behind money, but I am running behind the better version of a person who I can become, who deserve that particular life.
Deserve that life. Yes.
So that is
Absolutely.
very much
It's
important.
so it's often said that it's not about the money that matters. It's about what you become when you have that kind of
Hmm.
money will really matter.
Absolutely.
So amazing, amazing. One last question that's coming to me. In fact, that's a split of two question.
Okay.
Uh, Before we end, I would like to ask you one thing that you would like to tell your 10 years old self,
Hmm.
and one thing that you would like to tell your future self.
Super. So one thing I have to tell for the 10 years younger, okay, get into the business, figure it out, fail. Doesn't matter how many times you fail in any kind of a business, but get into the business. Not do not get into the 9 to 5 job. There is nothing wrong into that 9 to 5 job if that is something which is your dream. But I
Hmm.
think so. Every this is one of the quote again, like has had a big impact. It's by Donald Trump. If you are thinking anyway, why don't you think big?
Hmm. Anyways,
So
you're thinking every day, right?
yeah, anyways, because it is taking the same effort to think in that small and think in big. That's it. So I
Hmm.
would say the younger self, get started with that business, figure it out, fail, do whatever you can till the age like 30 or 35, because that is the time like you will be able to figure it out lot of things. But do not have that courage. I see a lot of people, Aarti, like they do not have that courage. I
Hmm.
know they are not having that courage because they need to see the family, each and everything. That's for sure. But to the younger generation also, I would say like you need to have that courage. ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा क्या होने वाला है?
Hmm.
Anywhere we stuck, like the day when you get that particular confidence, I would say you will be able to rock it. And for the people who is 10-year older, this is a tricky question, huh, by the way. It made me think.
It came
For
as a
the
googly.
yeah. So 10-year older person, I would say
Yourself, your
yourself.
own
Yeah.
self of 10-year old
Correct.
from today, a future self of yours.
Correct. So I would say before you taking um, a book in your hand and like getting ready for studies for like the ninth standard, eighth standard, or like the college and everything, at least start getting like the books handled of that self-help books, because that is more than enough to get yourself started, I would say.
Ah.
Yeah. And when it comes to these people, I'm sorry, I got confused. So the 10-year later, okay, so the 10-year later person, I would say, even if you are not able to crack the code, even after the 10-year future, still still figure it out, because you are just
Mhm.
like very much closer towards your destiny. That is what I
Wow,
would say.
amazing, amazing. That's great. So the whole message, whether it is in your teenage, or it is in your 20s and 30s, or it is 10 years from today when you are almost in your 50s, the only message is keep figuring out. It's okay if you fail.
It's
Keep
absolutely okay.
experimenting, keep having that courage to show up, courage to show up and do work, do your work, and keep experimenting and keep figuring out something, or the other will work out. Yeah. And I
Absolutely.
hope, and I wish by the next 10 years you would have already figured out, you would have already gotten your goals, and you've already built the $1 million brand club, and you're an author also. So I hope and I wish, of telling the 10-year old, future self of yours, that great that you came for this podcast with me, and great that I could connect with you. So tell us, what do you do now, Ravi? Like, how do you help people build a $1 million brand? How is it that you're helping? And how can people get in touch with you? Of course, I will be putting all the links in the description box as well. But would you like to share in brief how you will be able to help them?
Absolutely. Before I share that particular thing, and thank you so much, Aarti, because you are just doing an amazing job. Like, you are actually helping a relationship, which is like, which is the breakdown. You're literally like, patching that relationship up, and you're saving that relationship, because it is very, very much important as a, like, love coach and self-healing coach, and making them understand that their true self-worth, so that
Yeah.
they start like having a great bond, like it's a very powerful bond. So you are just doing an amazing, by the way, Aarti, because what I see is, end of the day, it doesn't matter whatever we are doing, it's all about relationship.
Yes.
Either
Yes.
you should have a great relationship with yourself, either you should have a great relationship with others, because that is what all matters. And rest
Absolutely.
everything is all the man-made kind of a thing, I would say. It's all about relationship, because end of the day we have to live with one another kind of a
Thank you so
person.
much, Ravi, coming from your end. Thank you so much. I really
Yeah.
appreciate.
Yeah. And when it comes to what I do right now is, well, right now I am actually purely helping, especially the new coaches, okay, who are just getting started, or the life coaches, like, who is just figuring out. I'm helping them to, like, building their brand personality from average to becoming an authority personality. So that is what, like, I am helping them. So I have a few programs of mine, and also I run my $1 million brand certification program, which is 1 year certification program. So it's
Amazing.
it's all about changing yourself from that average person to a brand personality, the one
Mm,
who I was, like, 10 years or 20 years before,
mm,
and the who a person who I am, and, like, the future self. That is what this program is all about. And
amazing.
I'm also, like, on Instagram. I'm mainly on, like, mostly on a YouTube and Instagram. So that is where you can, like, always find. And
Yes,
also, like,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah, so
that's
look
from
for
my
Ravi
end.
Nadar on Instagram and on YouTube. And so, do you have like a workshop or a webinar people can join, Ravi?
Absolutely. So if you search me, like, at the Ravi Nadar in the Instagram, there is a link, and where you can join my webinar,
I
where
will
from.
definitely be giving that in the
Yes,
description
yes.
as well.
Yeah, so I
So,
have a webinar running where, like, I teach them, like, the secrets, like, how to, like, from shy to say hi, right? Because that is
wow,
that is kind of a journey where I was, like, if you're shy and
amazing.
introvert, and the person
Ah,
who, like, never spoke to the other person, saying to hi in front of the camera, because I was
wow.
not like this, by the way, Aarti, speaking in front of the camera. And especially
Amazing.
if you ask me to talk to anybody, and I am, like, from last, like, 40 50 minutes we are having a conversation.
Yes,
I am not this kind of a person. If I
yes,
see,
yes.
like, 10 20 years before. So that's
Mm.
all about. And guys,
You've come a
do
long,
follow
long way.
Aarti.
Yeah. I mean, I totally
Absolutely.
understand where you're coming from. And that's the reason you're passionate about helping people to go from shy to high. And I love this concept, guys. Do check out the link which is there in the description box and do join his webinar and also his workshops.
Absolutely. And guys, please do follow Aarti, because she is one of the greatest soul. And if you think that you have some kind of inconvenience or anything you're facing when it comes to in your relationship, this is the go-to person who will always help you. Not only help you, but she is the one who can heal your relationship. And, like, your relationship will, like, flourish, like the rose flower, I would say, or maybe any kind of a flower, like, sunflower. So if you want to
Right.
get that kind of a relationship nourishment, she's the one. And like, she is just amazing, because I been known from her, like, from quite a long time. And whenever I have interacted with her, she is always up to, like, when it comes to how can I serve you, how can I help you. So please do follow Aarti, and she's the one if you want to know anything related to relationship, I would say.
You're a really kind soul, Ravi. Thank you so much for all these kind words. I really appreciate that. And we have now come to the end of this session. Thank you so much for accepting this invite and coming over for, we've been speaking for a long time now. Thank you so much for coming. And to everybody else, please look up for the link in the description box and join the webinar. You will never regret. You will have a lot of takeaways from his sessions, and I've personally attended them, and that's really impacted me. And see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye
Thank you
bye.
so much, Aarti.